I'm back. Did you miss me? I've definitely learned how to embrace my inner weird. I don't know who I am when I'm not in a leotard. Stop being weird, be normal. Today's a bit of a doozy. I'm just winging this one. Can you tell I'm being awkward right now? All right, let's do this. Too many side tangents, sheesh. Today, I'm just going with it. Let's do this. Sheesh kebabs. Okay, let's try that again. I'm a freaking grown up, yeah! Tell me what to do. Can I share my story really quick? Let's do that. Oh, I love you. Would you like a treat? Oh, you got this, Joe. You got this, Joe. You got this, Joe. Would you like a treat and then we'll play in a little bit? Get out the jiggles. Get out the wiggles. Hello, my name is Joanna Ashley. I am a sustainability coach. I am a life coach, business coach, and minimal waste coach, and I help people create healthier relationships. And today, I am sharing with you my story. This is a doozy of a day, isn't it? I can't believe. Just whatever comes out is what you're gonna hear. I was born and raised in Illinois, in the burbs. I moved to Arizona when I was like 12 or 13. Been here ever since. And my whole family is from Romania, and English is my second language. So I'm familiar with foreigners. And if you are familiar with foreigners, then you know what I mean when I do this. I know foreigners. They're just funny to me. It's funny to see the transition of coming from another country, you know, just the trauma it took to get to America, and then learning how to function in another country with this from that country. I had a really great childhood. I honestly did. Love my family very much, but there's definitely some trauma that took place. I grew up doing gymnastics from 4 till I moved to Arizona. I was in gymnastics, but what that looked like, just to give you a little bit of an insight, because this I think helps you understand a little bit more about me. I would be in the gym basically all day. Like, I don't remember having friends except for the one gal across the street, shout out to you, Ashley, and the girls that were in the gym with me. That's like all I can remember as far as people. Like, I can remember bits and pieces of people like from school, but like, yeah, gymnastics was my whole world for so long. I remember when I moved to Arizona just feeling so depressed. Like so depressed. Like I couldn't do gymnastics when we moved here for things that I just couldn't control, my family couldn't control. Like, I couldn't do gymnastics and I wanted to so badly, and I couldn't. And I just remember going through this transition of like, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know who I am. And I don't know who I am when I'm not in a leotard. For real, like, it was, looking back, I'm like, I had such an identity like crisis at the age of like 12, 13, like right as you're like hitting puberty. I'm like, what do I do with myself? Who am I? What do I like? What, you know, how do I talk to people, right? Because all I talked about was gymnastics. I lived, I breathed, like everything was gymnastics. The first day of school, I wear a tie-dye shirt. I just remember this gal, Rachel, she's super cool. And I just remember her saying like, oh, you're the new girl, you're the tie-dye girl. And I'm just thinking like, what a dumb decision. Like, you're in middle school and the first day at a new school in another state, you're gonna wear a tie-dye shirt? Anyways, so here I am, 6th grade, making friends, doing the things. Fast forward to high school. It was okay. I was a totally different person in high school. I was super shy, super insecure, traumatized about everything because I just didn't have any kind of emotional resiliency. So anything that someone did, and I was just like, oh, they don't like me. And I just like didn't know how to talk to people. Definitely an athlete. I found volleyball, I found track. Volleyball was super fun and still is super fun. I love playing volleyball. I didn't make the varsity team, and I think that's still something that I'm working through because with gymnastics, like I just, you know, you like being good at things. And so volleyball, like I never made varsity, and that was just like, here you go, here's the thing I'm working on. But Anyways, I found track. I loved track. High school for me, it was okay. Wouldn't do it again. Yeah, definitely wasn't a cool kid. I would not consider myself a cool kid. I have a handful of friends, you know. I still keep in touch with most of them. It was an awkward and weird time for Joe, but it's okay. I wasn't a part of the cool kids club, and I really did want to be. There's a lot that probably goes into it. My perspective back then was just probably super wonky, so it's hard to say accurately what it was like. I can just refer back to how I felt, and I would never want to do it again. Fast forward, I'm 19. I moved to Tucson for the first time, where I get to like be away from my family. That was like rebellious Joe. I was like, I can do this. I don't need to be with my family. I'm a grown-up. Yeah, you should have seen me, a little rebel. No, I was actually afraid of getting in trouble growing up because I'm the oldest of two of us. And my sister, however, was just, and still is, like just so confident and friendly. Like I remember we went to vacation one time in Cancun, and we're at this like hotel, and my sister just comes to lunch with a new friend. Who is this person? What is their name? You guys are friends now? That's how that works? Is that how that works? You just meet people and become friends with them? Like, how does this work? Where's the manual so that I can learn how to do such things? No, my sister's fearless, and I love that, and I'm just afraid of everything. I'm in Tucson, live on my own for the first time. I only stayed there for a year because I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't have a good experience in Tucson. And again, this totally could have been my mindset, you guys. Like I said, totally different person than you see here today. So I've definitely learned how to embrace my inner weird. I always wanted to either do cooking or do nursing. That was like always the two things I was really passionate about. I love to cook, I love to bake, primarily baking. Like I'd always make these, you know, cakes and stuff with like my family and stuff. And if you don't know, just really quick into, like I said, my family's Romanian. So if you wanna just a sneak peek insider scoop, growing up Romanian in our household was like, you became a woman when you could cook a meal for your family and clean the house, and you get like the approval from mom. Like when you do that, you've peaked. That's it. You've peaked. I remember one night, I guess I made dinner, had cleaned the house, and I just remember my grandma was so proud of me. She was so proud of me. Like I just couldn't believe how much attention I was getting from her, because she was just like, oh, this is so great. Now you can get married. Oh, can I though? Can I do that? No thanks. Okay, I'm being pretty squirrely. Okay, monumental things that happened in my life. I was disowned by my family, and I won't say which people in my family, but just like there were people in my family that disowned me for certain things, certain decisions that I made. So that was a really, really tough time. Very tough time. We've since mended things, and this is a very vulnerable thing that I'm sharing, and I'm not sharing it to like dog on anyone. I'm just sharing it because it really was like a huge defining moment for me, just that whole season. Not trying to give away too much. This is weird. I'm going through this tough time, right? And I'm actually living on my own for the first time without any roommates. So this is like moving out and having roommates is like, okay, I'm a grown up, but moving out and living alone is like, I'm a freaking grown up, yeah! Tell me what to do. Tell me, I dare you, right? So I'm 23 at this point, and I was terrified, you guys. I was so scared. And I remember they offered a 3-month lease, and I was just like, okay, yeah, give me that one, because I know that I can stick it out for 3 months if I absolutely hate it. I loved it, still do. Absolutely love it. Just amazing sauce. Like so great. I think that was when I first became more aware of myself, and that's actually when the whole sustainability stuff started taking place, because I had failed out of nursing school. Yep, sure did. It was a sad time, but it was necessary. 10 years ago is when I first became aware of, oh, I like this way. I like things clean. I like things dirty. I like this way, and all these things. And so that was the first time I really so that's how many dishes I actually contributed to the sink. Daddy wasn't just dogging me. I do create lots of dishes. Fun times, fun times. Prior to this, I had gone through 2 pretty tough breakups. And at the time that I'm living alone on my own, I'm actually dealing with being disowned, and I'm dealing with this really tough breakup. So I was a bit wild, in my opinion. I don't have crazy stories to share. People have shared with me, they're like, what's the crazy thing you've ever done? And I'm just like, why don't you go first? And then they go, and I'm like, yeah, I got nothing compared. Nothing. It was a tough time for Joe. But anyways, I hadn't yet figured out what a growth mindset was. My goal wasn't to grow in the way that it is now. It was just kind of hey, I'm doing all of the things, and I have independent, and I can pay my bills now, and I'm learning how much money to spend, and I'm learning what's coming in and what's going out, and I'm learning the flow of all of that. Wow, everything is like a shiny new toy. Fast forward a bit, and I'm 28. Yeah, I think I'm 28. And I get married. And then I turn 30, shit hits the fan. Trying to decide how much I want to share. Yeah, shit hits the fan. And my whole world just literally just is in the shitter. It just completely is turned upside down. It was tough to say the least. But you know what? I'm so grateful for that time now, because I literally would not be here without that. So now that you kind of know a bit of a history, this is kind of where you get to start to see how the old Joe and the new Joe, the new layers, I should say. I'm still me, but there's so many layers that I've added on since 2018 when the shit hit the fan. So I became aware. I discovered Brene Brown. Huge game changer, you guys. This is the first time I learned about the term emotional intelligence. First time in my whole life. I'm 30 years old. And I'm like, wow, I should care more about how I feel and how I respond to things and how other people respond to me and how I respond to them. There's something there. My awareness turned on then. And it's been on ever since, and it will stay on forever, right? Because you can't undo awareness. Here I am, I'm 30 years old, and I'm going through this very, very tough time, and I'm in this unhealthy relationship, right? I'm married at the time, and I'm finally at this point where I'm like, okay, I need to let this go. This is not serving me in a positive way, and I've done the best that I could here, but it's just time. It's just time to go. That was a huge decision for me, you guys. I can't even tell you what it was like in my darkest moments. I'll talk about this a lot as we do these chats, if you will. I was in what I like to call the rabbit hole of depression. So what is the rabbit hole of depression, you ask? When you have just been punched by life so many times, and you don't have the tools to get yourself back up, that you're just kind of stuck in this land of misery and depression. And that's where I was, 1000%. Just to give you an image of what it was like at my absolute lowest, I almost lost my job because I was on the couch, unable to get up, unable to shower, unable to care for myself. That's how depressed I was. The reason that I just appreciate everything that has happened and appreciate discovering Brene Brown and discovering vulnerability and discovering the power of processing our emotions and just being sustainable in more than just ways to reduce your waste is because of like, I've seen myself from this other perspective of like, holy crap, that was really tough. And you made it. Like you did it. Like you did it. Like I doubted you there for a second. Longer than a second, I should say. Like there was a time where it was just like, I'm never gonna stop being miserable. I'm never gonna stop hurting. Like this pain is never gonna leave me. Ever. This pain is never gonna leave me. And it's such a terrible and awful place to be in. We've all been there. We've all been there. We've all dealt with hurts, just traumas, and just awful, sad situations. So I learned about the rabbit hole. I got out of it. And I just started reading books, podcasts, and I started talking about what was happening with my friends. And that was really, really tough. Like sharing your story, like now, like you can see how like it's awkward, like it's weird, because sometimes sharing my story, it presents this image, and sometimes like myself and other people in my story don't look great. The intention behind sharing my story is to help people, to encourage them. And sometimes it's to help me. Like at that time, sharing my story about what was happening helped me tremendously. Like I just saying it, like I remember I went through this season where it's like, I need to tell my friends what, like this fucking bomb that just exploded. Like I need to tell my friends what's happening because it's like such a, what? Like what? And I just kept meeting and telling people, and I just kept like sharing my story. And like after a while, it was just like, I didn't need to share it anymore. Like I had like sat with the heaviness. I sat with the pain. I felt like that just pinprick of annoying, unstopping, unrelenting pain. I sustained that pain long enough to where I was able to bear that weight. It didn't even feel like, now it's like my perspective's so different. I've acquired the tools necessary to sustain shit hitting the fucking fan. I still get in the rabbit hole, don't get me wrong. Like I still struggle with depression. Depression is very like hard to just like decide not to do. But the difference is now is like I can discern what I need in order to move forward, because I can't just like skip steps. Like in the beginning, it's like, okay, this thing happened. I need to just take a minute and just reflect. I need to acknowledge that this happened. And now I need to feel it. Okay? Like it's here, I can't deny it anymore, but it's doing some stuff in me and it's causing some effects. Now I can discern like, okay, it's happened, processing it, I'm learning what I'm being triggered by. I'm learning how to move on. I'm learning the root cause. You know, I'm learning, okay, I've sat with my emotions enough. Now it's time. Get yo ass up. No more sitting on the couch anymore, JoJo. It's time to get up. Now you've reached a point where that's unhealthy. At one point, it was like, oh, you need this. At another point, it's like, you need to stop doing this. And I think that's why I'm so grateful now for just all of the hard stuff that's happened, because I walk around and I'm meeting with people and I'm meeting new people and I'm constantly pushing myself to do things that are super uncomfortable, but I know in the long run are going to be good for me. And I'm hearing people speak in a mindset that I used to be in that I'm stuck mindset. And I want to help them if they want help, and I get to do that now, and it's so great. Kind of went off on a tangent there for a bit, but I hope that helps describe, like, that was such a trivial time in my life. Granted, I'm almost 34 and, you know, it happened a few years ago, but it was just such an important time, and it really just helped create, like I said, the layers of who I am. Coming back to me being a sustainability coach, I have for 10 years now been learning about the planet, being aware of, you know, trash, what's recycling, what's composting, learning all of these things, what products can I swap out. I've been aware of the impact that I have on the planet, but that time in my life made me realize that sustainability is not just reducing your waste. Sustainability is building that muscle of being able to sustain and carry the weight of shit hitting the fan. And that to me was just like, oh my gosh, like I get to tie in everything that I love. I get to do that now. I get to like create financial freedom by something that I'm passionate about, and it ties in everything that I love. So that's me. That's where I am right now. So you guys are all caught up to where we're at, and hopefully we can now just be on this journey together. I'm just super excited for where I am in life. I'm excited for the journey that I'm on. I'm excited for this new perspective. I'm excited for these new tools that I have. I'm excited that I never get to stop getting better. That's the beauty of always wanting to grow, is that since we live in an imperfect world, perfection will never be achieved, which means I always have an opportunity to be better. Isn't that cool? I think that's fucking badass. That is so cool. We always get to get better. We can always find a way to communicate better, to laugh with each other, to understand each other, to avoid conflict. Not because we're running away from it, but because it's like, I know you well enough to word this like this, so you understand that I'm not being hurtful, right? That to me is super duper cool. So that's me, Joanna Ashley, from birth to almost 34 years of age. Let me know if you have questions, how I can help you I'm learning how to enjoy every season. I'm not saying that like there's not hard parts of my life, because I'm going through like letting go of something really difficult. And my life isn't peaches and cream all the time, but with this new mindset, it's sustainable. It's sustainable. So here I am, the sustainable phoenix. Thank you for listening. I so appreciate you listening to my heart. This was kind of hard to share. I know I didn't get into like too detail. It was more of like a brief overview of my life. So if there's anything that you want to learn more about, or hear more about, or just chat more about, like I'm all about it. I'm here for it. So just holla at me and I will chat with you soon. Stay sustainable, my friends.